There's a difference between how quickly some food gets digested in your body, and there's quite a few scales or indexes that exist that you can use for your benefit. One of them is called the glycemic index. This one is pertaining just to carbohydrates. It looks at how quickly the sugar in your blood drops. So there's a general rule: the more refined something is, the quicker your insulin will like drop, or the quicker you get hungry again.
Right.
So when it comes to like a candy bar or something that has like a lot of sugar in it, like you'll get the big energy rush and then immediately it'll drop because all the glucose will be processed already in your body
Very fast.
very quickly. But if you take potatoes or sweet potatoes or brown rice, that takes a lot longer to digest than like a candy bar. So you'll have a more constant sugar level or a more constant energy level.
And you're gonna feel satisfied for longer, basically.
You're gonna feel satisfied for longer. You're not gonna have the craving to eat again, because once your sugar drops, then you're gonna want more. Okay, the next one is called a satiety index, and this one includes proteins, fats, and carbs. So it's
everything.
It's everything. The satiety index is kind of old. It's from like the 80s or 90s, but I've seen a lot of articles and scientific resources that still use it. And it's basically a subjective and objective rating on certain foods based on like white bread being like the zero, like
the one.
The one. It was
100%.
It was 100%.
Yeah.
So as you said, the general rule is that foods that contain like more protein, fiber, and water content are gonna keep you more satiated. And you can see that in the satiety index as well. For
100%.
example, potatoes and oatmeal are very high on the scale because potatoes keep a lot of water and they're very like filling, like it's pure like when you eat it, you have to not only chew it a lot, it's like heavy as well. So yeah, it's heavy. And the same goes with oatmeal, like it fills up water. But if you look at an egg, which is less satiating on the satiety index,
still high though.
It's still high, but it's less. Even though it has protein, it doesn't contain as much water.
Yeah.
I think that's the reasoning behind it. But it has a lot of protein, which is gonna keep you satiated.
Yeah.
And then if you look at a piece of white bread, that's even less satiating. Even though it has actually it doesn't have anything nutritious in it. It could have some protein, but it's mostly just carbohydrates. So that's not really gonna keep you full.
But it's gonna give you the satisfaction.
It's gonna give you the satisfaction, and for sure, if you like eating white bread, like I love white bread so much. Yeah. I would just snack on it all the time, and a lot of times I cannot be full unless I have the white bread.
We have some white bread in the background. You don't see it. Fortunately.
I need it.
But she's gonna go snack on it after the show.
So are you?
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is that certain people have some things that they need to satisfy them and certain people don't. So when you see like the satiety index or the glycemic index or the third index that I found, which is fullness factor, try it out, see what works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's a very good guideline if you want to find ways how to eat the right amount of food so you don't have to snack on or like binge eat because you're unsatisfied with like the 1,000 or 1,500, I don't know how many calories you're eating. Because even if you're eating a lot, it still could not, it's still possible that it's not enough or it doesn't keep you full.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're, for example, eating 3 Mars bars, for example, you could feel full for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. And then you don't feel full again afterwards. But you're going to consume the same amount of calories as like a big chunk of boiled potatoes.
Exactly.
So these are skills that could be useful when you're thinking about what to eat,
What to eat? Yeah.
how to choose. And I have some recommendations here from the Satiety Index on foods that are like better to eat, maybe, which were high on the index compared to white bread that you can check out. So grapefruit was on the top. Apples, oranges, boiled potatoes, eggs, oatmeal, popcorn, carrots, baked beans, meat, and fish. These are all high up on the chart. We're gonna put the chart on the Instagram page also for you to check out if you wanna like get deep into it and see the exact numbers of each.
So the last factor that I want to talk about, or index, is called the Fullness Factor, and it's basically identical to the Satiety Index, but because when they made it, they used the exact same like foods quantity, like the caloric density of it, and they made it to see if the Satiety Index is like legit. So it's like a predictor of how satisfied you will be with the food. They made like a formula and everything. I don't remember the formula. It's quite long.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that the fullness factor almost identically predicted how full a food is gonna keep you in correspondence to what the satiety index says.
So it's a more advanced version of it.
So it's a more advanced version of it, and it supports the satiety index.
I love that.
Yeah. That being said, if you are interested in this type of stuff or you're curious, you can check out the glycemic index, the satiety index, or the fullness factor.
We'll put it on the Instagram.
We'll put it on the Instagram.
Go follow us.
Yes, at Muscle Planting.
At Muscle Plan. So one other thing that could be important when we talk about like what foods to eat is the caloric density of the food. So for example, if I have this much ice cream, for example, I have 200 grams of ice cream. That could have maybe, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 calories. But if I have the same amount of vegetables, 200 grams of vegetable, that could have 70 calories. They both have 200 grams, so it's going to fill up my stomach quite similarly. But the amount of calories that I'm consuming are different. So when we're eating, we can think about, okay, I'm going to fill up my stomach. That's why a lot of people eat salads in the beginning. That could be one reason. Because it's low in calories, it's going to fill you up in the beginning. So when you go into the main course, which could be much higher in the density, you're going to consume less because you're already full. And then in the end, when you go to the desserts, which have the highest amount of calorie density, you're going to consume even less because you're already quite full.
So when we look at energy density, we can divide it between very low, low, medium, and high. So when something is in very low, you can eat as much as you want from it because you can eat a lot of volume and you still won't get a lot of calories in.
Mm-hmm.
But when something is very high, like a dessert, you don't really want to overconsume that.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it comes to planning your meals, you can have like very low, even low, honestly even high, but if you want to lose weight and have a healthy diet. So I think the biggest tip you can get from this is try to learn which foods are like low and which foods are high in calories. But I am in no means, I don't want to promote like counting calories or like even preparing your food for like an entire lifetime, because I think those things should only be reserved for people who are like on extreme diets, like someone who is either like morbidly obese and needs to lose weight, or someone who is preparing for a competition, because those things are very intense in my opinion, and they're not meant for like normal day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
So don't get obsessed with it, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get obsessed with it.
Don't get obsessed. But that being said, I would say that counting your calories and being mindful of every single thing that you eat for like a week to 2 weeks, every 4 or 5 months or so would be really useful. I really recommend this for anyone who's trying to lose weight or even maintain their weight,
Yeah.
if they feel like they're gonna they're gaining a little bit of a belly.
But even gaining weight, like for me, this is my example. I used to undereat a lot, and I thought I was getting enough calories in. But no, the moment I was looking at like, okay, this has like 300 calories, I consume like 500 calories again, and it was always like, it wasn't an exact value because I couldn't calculate. Like I was eating with my family, and I couldn't just write down everything. But when I did have the freedom to see and identify how many calories I was eating, I became aware that I was under eating, so I needed to eat more, which is helpful.
Exactly.
It goes both ways. Like, just use it in a healthy way.
To just gain some mindfulness.
Yeah, gain mindfulness.